Hey everybody, Master, back with Marvel Heroes, and this time we got Drax on the chopping block as Team Up. You know, do a little zoom up on him there. See, he's got his two little swords there, two big swords. They're not really big, two average swords. And zoom back out of them. And we'll take a look at him. A little view. And of course, he's got the basic Team Up definitions of infinite, 30 seconds with 200% hero damage and 5% health per second. And then, of course, we got his buff effect, which is 300 damage rating to melee powers and 720 defense. That can be really useful to some melee guys, especially now with the way everything's going. That defense could be very, very huge. Bodyguard, standard. You know, you can take 10% of the incoming damage and direct it towards the team up. Not really suggested if you're going to have them out. Suggested loyal ally, where every second, if you kill an enemy, it reduces his cooldown by 1 second. And then, of course, treasure seeker. 10% rare item find, 10% special item find, 10 credit item find, or 10 credit find. And then going into his special abilities, I haven't actually had a chance to look at it, so I get to see it fresh just like you. Dervish Slash. That's a pretty good hit right there. He gets to do it every 10 seconds, an average of, looks like 13,000 damage. And stunning all enemies around him. He gets to hit all enemies around him. That's a pretty good hit. Earth Rend, Drax stomps a chunk of earth out of the ground and punches it through enemies in a line. Well, that sounds like Hulk. And that's an average of about 14,500 damage on a 6-second cooldown. And then if you have him as a buff, I think he's going to really appeal to melees because he's all about crit and crit damage here. 2% activation when hit with a melee power. Obviously can't be affected when hero's out, but for 10 seconds, wow. 2% chance on hit with melee power. No limit on how often it can go off, but it gives you 1,200 brutal and critical damage rating for 10 seconds with no limit on how often it can go off. So you can pretty much have that up permanently on some characters. Then you got Vengeance. Drax flies into a rage and begins attacking faster and hitting harder. He gets 5% attack speed, 5% crit chance, 10% brutal strike chance for 10 seconds on a 30-second cooldown. And then Destroyer's Vengeance. Drax wades into the enemy, cutting a crimson swath by brutally slashing his blades in wide arcs. And it does 16,000 damage twice per second on a 60-second cooldown. And then the second buff with, again, no limit on how often it can go off. Oh, triggers once every 30 seconds. I'm sorry, I didn't read that before. They put it down there. Triggers once every 30 seconds. So, 10 seconds out of 30 seconds. You can have these buffs. 5% attack speed, 360 critical and brutal strike rating. And again, you can have both the critical hit damage and critical strike rating for 10 seconds out of 30 seconds. So it gives you a nice little buff. They just moved with a timer on it. It used to be right after it. And that's it. Let's go show the abilities. We'll have the first two abilities, the Dervish Slash and the Vengeance. We'll have those being displayed first. So that's, he just used his Vengeance. Something tells me as a team-up though, if you're not doing Midtown or less, this guy's dead. He's just really slow. I mean, look at these attacks. Those are real slow. So if you're using him for the buff. So let's see what the second set are like. That was his big jump. There's the earth throw. Oh, the swath was actually pretty good. That was him cutting the big chunks of AoE. Oh, that's nice. He just stops attacking. There he goes. I wonder if that's supposed to go directly in the air, or if it should be going straight backwards. He seems quite a bit bugged, doesn't he? Maybe they should have tested him a little longer. I think that's supposed to go straight back and hit the next one in line. Oh, there's that big 1 minute cooldown one. That's pretty cool. Punches it through enemies in a line. Yeah, that's not supposed to go straight up into the air. So, he is still a little bit bugged, but I don't think you're going to buy him as the team up to be out. You're going to buy him for the buff anyways. And that's Drax. So, hope it helps. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to everybody real soon.